Okay, we're working on our Whirlpool WDF. That's too much light. This thing will not focus. There it is. Come on. Come on. What a piece of junk. WDF560SAFW2. I can see it better further away. Okay, so I've got the whole assembly pulled out. You got drain motor right there, well lit. I'm repairing. I think I've repaired the main circulation pump, and then a bunch of other parts are down in here. That white thing down there, that's diverts the. It's like a valve. You don't even need that thing. I think that thing's useless. So it gives you your upper rack, lower rack type of thing. Anyway, this was the problem right here. The circulating pump wasn't working, so it wasn't washing dishes. So I think I've got it fixed. But I think what happened was Christmas, we cooked this huge 20-pound turkey, and the grease blocked this filter here. So I've got a bunch of soap. I'm soaking that thing. I've washed it 2 or 3 times. It was completely blocked with that white grease at turkey, and that fits right in there in this hole. So I can show you. Drops in there like that. So I think it sucked air in because it was completely blocked. So water's running down there, but nothing's going through this screen. And then it probably pulled a little air down from the side because it just couldn't get enough water. And that's your the in feed right there. That is the in feed right there for the pump. The circulating pump that washes the dishes. So I pulled this out. I managed to get it out. There's a motor mount right here. Pop that out. Get it out this far, and then you can twist it off. These 4 little tabs. Lock it on there. These 4 little gray plastic pieces. Lock on to that black. Once I got it out past there, I could see in this hole. I could see the impeller, and I took a screwdriver, tried to turn that impeller, and it was weeble wobbling. Something seemed like it wasn't right in there, so couldn't tell what was wrong. I thought there was a big chunk of food or something stuck in there. So I twisted this off, got it out. This impeller was like, it was on. Threads on that little brass nut there. It was like barely on by 1.5 turns here. Like that. And it's supposed to be down like this. There. Now it's finally on. So I think by sucking air, it kind of, yeah, I think it, yeah, it's loose there. The motor spun, and somehow that impeller got loose in there. So, and I think what was happening is it wasn't working anymore. It was either jammed, I don't know what was going on. So maybe the motor's no good. I'm going to try putting some Loctite on there. Loctite this nut right to here. And reassemble everything tomorrow. I got to clean all those O-rings. Got to get in there with something really small to get in that groove. Try and get all that food out of there. There's kind of debris all through there. Clean all these parts, these contact points, so no water leaks. I've already started cleaning this big rubber ring here. There's still some stuff in there in that groove. So I'll do one more cleaning tomorrow. And this thing here too, I gotta clean that O-ring. It hasn't been done yet. This is the drain pump. So there's 2 pumps on that. That one mounts on this section here, and it drains the dirty water sends it down the drain. So, yep, it's pretty simple. Weighs nothing, this thing. It weighs like, this whole piece with no motors on it weighs about maybe a pound, pound and a half. This chunk here weighs, I think, 2, maybe 3 pounds. Concrete. And there's the date. December 26, 2017. So, it's only 3 years and a bit. So, I think the turkey blocked the drain, caused this whole thing, caused that impeller to spin off somehow. I don't know how, but yeah, we'll Loctite it on tomorrow. We're going to keep an eye on this thing here. Yeah, make sure it stays clean. And maybe we got a dishwasher. It's not very old, so I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think that impeller spun off somehow, and that's our only problem. So I got a bunch of wires I got to plug back in, and it should take very little time to put this all back together. There's two torque screws going here to hold that piece down there, that thing in the dark there, and then 2 big screws going in these. Yeah, I think the big screws go in here, the little screws go in here, I think, in here. Hold that valve. It's like a valve. And then the weight's held on here. Like that. I can't figure out why that weight's there. It's probably because the whole thing is so light that it needs weight to bring the center of balance down lower. When you open the door, maybe the whole thing flips forward. I don't know. I can't figure it out. So we'll put that back on and hope for the best. Maybe it'll work. And that's all it's to it. There's lots of videos on how to take this apart, but these 3 little tabs, you need like I used my knife and that was it. There's the 3rd one right there. Doesn't even swing over very far. That's all it's to it, holding it all together, and then plug a bunch of wires in. So if it works tomorrow, I'll let you know. With a bit of luck, I think it's fixed. Okay, everything's hooked up. First thing I did this morning was Loctite that impeller on. I should have done it last night, and I spun it and spun it and spun it and didn't come off. So I think that's fixed. I think that was a mistake in the factory. I think they either forgot to Loctite it on, or the threads were cut too loose or something. I don't know. It just seemed to not clamp on there very, very good. So I had to pull the machine out of the cabinet and lay it on its side because I just couldn't orient it. The thing is little plastic pin has to fit in that notch right there, and then this sticks out the front. It'll only fit in there one way, so once it's in the way it goes, then because the hose for the 3 spinema thingies in the trays over there on the floor, those spinning things to wash dishes, have to line up with that hose up the back. So this thing has to be positioned just perfect. So that's why the pin is there, that locating pin. And then this little notch here, I think, is there to give you enough clearance to pass this thing through from the inside. And then you just turn these little tabs. Nothing to it really. Done. It's on. So I had a bit of trouble forcing that black, that's probably ABS plastic, into the rubber. And then the motor mount locking tabs. So well, the only thing I got left to do is push it back into the cabinet, hook up the water supply line, which I had to move a bunch of stuff down and store it underneath in the basement to get at the valve to shut it off. Yeah, the only way to pull that out of there was disconnect that. But other than that, that was the only thing I had to do. Disconnect that and undo the 2 screws up there underneath the countertop. And yeah, so the impeller, I spun it there with my fingers after I glued it on there with some Loctite. And it didn't come off, it didn't get loose again. So I think we've got the problem fixed. And then I took a marker and I wrote on there what I did in the year, so I can remind myself in the future. Probably the next time this thing comes out of there, it'll be going in the garbage. I mean, it's just made so cheap. This piece of concrete is probably there to add weights because it's just so lightweight that maybe it moves around on the floor or something when it's running. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, well, let's test it. Alright, seems to be fixed. We'll know how clean the dishes are when they come out, but I think it's working just like it used to work. Squirting water all over. Look at that, the dishes are already looking clean. A few dishes I put in. Yeah, so the only tools I needed for that whole thing were a T15 Torx. I used this one. It wasn't perfect, but I used that one. A 5/16 socket over here, and I used this Phillips tip right here. One of these, and that's it. 3 tools. So I just gotta watch for leaks for the next couple of cycles. I'll leave this panel off and make sure no water is coming out of there. But so far so good. It looks like it's fixed. Simple little impeller falling off because it wasn't, either it didn't have Loctite installed on it, or I don't know, it should have not fallen off. But so an unserviceable part, not supposed to be able to get apart. I managed to get it apart, fixed it, and it's running. This thing cost nothing to fix, really, just my time. Yeah, amazing.